Hi folks, it's Tasty Bento here. Today I'm going to be explaining how you can create commands for your add-ons. CompositeCommand is the class that you should extend to make commands for BentoBox. It provides a number of useful features and functions within itself, and it also ties into the help system automatically. It also provides a hierarchical system for adding subcommands. So we're going to have a look at the island command now in a little bit more detail and see how it uses the CompositeCommand methods and approaches. Island command is a top-level command, and when you create this class that you want to handle top-level commands, you should extend CompositeCommand, and then in your constructor you need to call the super for a top-level command. And the super for a top-level command has the add-on as the first parameter. After the add-on, you then have the actual name of the top-level command, the label, and as many aliases as you wish. Once you've done that, you must then implement the setup method. And in the setup method, there are a number of things that are done, such as setting the description. Let's have a look at that. The setDescription method points to a locale reference, and we can see the locale reference here in the locale file is the island help description. We then have a setting here that enables this command to only work for players. That means online players as opposed to console users. This next method sets the permission that the player must have in order to use this command. It is checked automatically, and if the player does not have this permission, they will see an error message. This is also the place where you should set up any subcommands. And so you can see in this island command we have quite a few of them: about, create, go, reset, etc. The second mandatory method that must be implemented on all commands is the execute. And the execute method is very similar to buckets execute, except that we have the BentoBox user object instead of player. And then you also get a list, rather than an array, you actually get a list of args for this. And then you're able to implement whatever happens when the player executes this. Now, if the player doesn't have the appropriate permission, this will not be executed automatically. In terms of the return value of this execute, it's not really checked that much, but in general, what we do is if there's a failure of some kind or some error, we return false. And if there's a success, then we return true. That's the top-level command. Let's have a look at one of the subcommands. So we'll have a look at island info command. The island info command is a subcommand of island, and when it is created, it actually takes as a parameter the parent, and then it passes the parent as the first parameter of the super here. So we're building up a hierarchy. At the very top, it's add-on. And after that, it's the subcommands or the parent of the subcommands that you need to do. And so here we have the info command, and it has an alias who as well. In the mandatory setup method, we are setting up the permission, which is island.info. It is not an only player command. So this is a command that can be run by the console. There is a parameter, and that is referenced in the locale file. So let's just have a look at that. So we have island info, and we have the parameters here, and it is player. And we have the description, which is also being shown, which was display info about your island or the player's island. So that's the setup there. Now we have the execute, that again will only be run if this is valid for this user in terms of permissions. So a few things that we should do is check the size of the arguments. So this particular command allows 0 arguments, or it allows one argument. But if there's more than that, then we really need to help out the user. So typically, if there's a incorrect argument number, then we show the help. And you're able to do that using this built-in method, which is just called show help. And what you do is you put this as the first parameter, and then the user, and that will show help relevant to this particular command to the user. And then we return false because it's a failure. After that, we can then do some other processing. This particular method just provides some information, and that's it. So that's another very simple command. This command has a TabComplete section. This is also very similar to bucket, except that it actually returns an optional list of strings, so it may not actually exist. If there is nothing to show, then return empty. Otherwise, you can return a list of whatever it is that's relevant to your particular command. In this case, it's listing a set of players that haven't yet been banned and that the user can see, and that don't include the user themselves. You can use this method if you want to add TabComplete to your commands. Now, sometimes you may want to write a command that needs confirmation. There are quite a few of those. And so in the API, we have an extension of CompositeCommand, which is called Confirmable Command. Confirmable Command will check that the player has typed in the command twice, and this is handled for you automatically. An example of that would be, let's say that you wish to do reset. In the execute method of island reset, all you have to do is you just call the ask confirmation on the user, and then pass it what do you want to run if the user confirms. So in this case, if the user confirms, then we need to run the reset island. And so that's an example of how you can quickly ask confirmation. Also further up, you may have seen the cooldown. If there's a cooldown required for this, then there will be a check the cooldown on this particular user. So that was just a quick introduction into CompositeCommand. It's a very useful way of writing commands, and it makes it quick and easy to be able to write commands on BentoBox. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.